Wake me up before the night swallows. Somebody get me some coffee. It's the Cornbread Man Morning Show on your radio. It's the Cornbread Man Morning Show. It's the Cornbread Man Morning Show on your radio. It's the Cornbread Man Morning Show. Eyes wide shut, hand me a pair of shades. The sun won't show me no mercy. I know you feel me. It's the Cornbread Man Morning Show on your radio. It's the Cornbread Man Morning Show. It's the Cornbread Man Morning Show on your radio. It's the Cornbread Man Morning Show. Why does it hurt so much when the day breaks? Why does it hurt so much when the day breaks? It's the Cornbread Man Morning Show on your radio. It's the Cornbread Man Morning Show. It's the Cornbread Man Morning Show on your radio. It's the Cornbread Man Morning Show.
Let's get her pulled on up. The Cornbread Man Morning Show with Dave the AM. I am your host here on a Tuesday, October the 7th. Yeah, an anniversary of a sad kind, right? As we think back to that attack in Israel. But nonetheless, it is 6:04 Eastern Standard Time in the AM. We hope you're doing well. We're glad to be with you. Kicking through a week, trying to get it kicked down, kicked around, kicked towards the weekend, but yet taking the time to enjoy each and every aspect of our week, and every day is a gift, and we're trying to appreciate those and hope that you had a great Monday. Our Monday was not bad. We have a couple things going on today, and I am hopeful. We have an interview that we're going to be getting in today. I missed one. Let me get things pulled up here. Yeah, I added down. We're Podbean Live this morning, so I was a little slow on the draw there on Instagram, so making sure all the little doggies in a row. But we have an interview we're going to conduct today that, if all goes well, that we have been talking about with the author of The Zenith Man, and we'll be doing that today. Early in the day. Good morning, Jeff. We'll be doing that interview early in the day. It'll be a recorded interview. We won't be going live with this, but we will record it and then air it out probably tonight, actually. But been negotiating on this thing for people's schedules are crazy. I understand, because mine is, and we actually, when you're dealing with a lawyer, they've got cases, all over the place and different things going on. He's actually out of town right now, and we're, working on a case. So he wrote the book, The Zenith Man, and it's a great book. I'm not even finished with it yet, but I am working my way through it. And I told him, I said, It's awesome, man. I said you did a great job with this. It's an amazing story that involves not only his life but another man's life, and he's got a really good way of writing, and I hope he does another book. I really do, because I think he did a fantastic job with this. I don't know if he has another book in him, but anyway, he has sold quite a few of these books. I know out of the one little bookstore there in town, he has sold 1,600 of these books. So, and one more than that, because I bought one and some other people have bought them. And so we've been trying to negotiate this, and I'm hoping other podcasters will get him on. But we're working on that today. Also, a big announcement today, and I kind of broke it yesterday on Facebook, my personal Facebook, as well as last night on Mama Said. But we were blessed over the last 24 hours to become an affiliate of the Hodge twins. Now that's big. Now they're everybody knows the Hodge twins, and they're out there speaking it loud and proud as patriots, and they don't care who gets their underwear in a bunch or whatever. I love these guys. I've been a customer of theirs for going back a few years. And over the weekend, we saw an opportunity to apply for that, and we're accepted. So it's not that we're the only one, but to get you got to get up to certain levels to get into stuff like that. If they look at things that you're doing, and it just shows that we're growing still, and we're getting there. And so some of them you try for, or you can't even get to. I mean, you got to get to certain levels to get to stuff. But the Hodge twins, and they'll be it is actually planted in our SFP not cornbread SFP News Nation that will air today, and we've got that set up and ready to go. Sometimes I kick those out the night before. These are like the 4 or 5 minute spots that I do daily about news and veterans and pets and stuff. There's an ad in there for the Hodge twins with that code. But it is absolutely fantastic. Couldn't believe it. It was just a neat blessing. Been a lot of stuff going on, and it's nice for that to drop out of the sky, so to speak. And we're just happy to be considered. And if you have ever done listened to them or anything, then that's pretty cool stuff right there. That you can be a part of. That's kind of cool. And so yeah, we'll get that out today, and really just haven't had time to do it, to be honest. It's been a whirlwind of the last 24 hours, and so we'll get those out to the people and let you see that today. But Hodge twins, pretty cool stuff. Love these guys, love what they do, and we'll get that news out to you. And so hopefully excuse me, hopefully you can. Allergies are still so fun. Not really, but hopefully you'll be able to see that today. And appreciate you giving us a thought for consideration. And you're getting something great out of the benefit. They have great merch. I mean, we've got some good merch. We do, but they're killer, and they do those giveaways all the time, and they generate a lot of interest out there in internet world. So they market themselves really well, and I'm glad to be a part of that marketing that goes on. They're just really cool guys, and we're just glad to be considered and accepted, and that's always a blessing. So thank you to those guys, and we don't forget that at all, and it'll be great to be a part of that family. And so anyway, the news today is the president's really going on a Fox News beat down. He's had a lot to say in the last 24 hours about them, just his words, not mine. But he has been very hard on Fox News. He finds the time, don't he? No matter what's going on in the world, he's still negotiating. They're running Hamas out of town. He's trying to, looks like he's back in Zelensky's play now. There's a story on the Gateway Pundit that Zelensky was considering stepping down and walking away, but now he is staying, and he is making sure his opponents don't rise to his level. Come on, he wasn't considering stepping down. This guy's a dictator. I don't like Russia. I don't like Putin anyway, but I don't like him either. He's been hitting deeper in Russia. They hit some military assets and stuff as they're getting deeper in, as they're using some of the military USA military hardware to get deeper into the country. And the president's talking about maybe supplying Europe with some of the tomahawks and stuff. Oh, you know where that's going? That's going into Ukraine. That's just a backwards way of saying it. So this thing keeps heating up over there. But in the middle of that, he finds time to do the beat down on Fox News. I think everybody, they're better than some, but not. But they've shifted. They have, lawsuits will do that. They got beat up, and so they've decided to play nice. They don't want to play with the big boys anymore and be opposition. Tell the truth. At least sometimes. I don't know. Birthdays today. It is Vladimir Putin's birthday today. 72 years old. Unless you believe he died about 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. There was hot rumors about that out of Russia that the guys that out there is a body double, and the Politburo over there is running things. Some of the generals, but you hear all this stuff. But anyway, Vladimir Putin, 72 years old, evil old today. Simon Cowell, 65 years old today. Simply called a talent manager. A talent manager. So he is 65 years old today. Baseball player Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts, a young 32. Seems like he's been playing forever. Mookie Betts, been with the Dodgers a long time, was with Boston, 32 years old. I believe that was Boston. So happy birthday to him as he's continuing to play and at a high level. And then it is, yes, John Mellencamp. Jack and Diane, right? John Mellencamp's birthday today. Oh, this one hurts. 73 years old today. And the great football player Charles Woodson, 48 years old today from the University of Michigan. The only reason I mention that, he is I think, a Hall of Famer now. But the only reason I mention that, or if he's not, he will be. The only reason I mention that is because around here, it was controversial because he won the Heisman over Peyton Manning all those years ago. People were really upset about that. And so, Charles Woodson, happy birthday to you. If it is your birthday today, we wish you the happiest of birthdays and hope that you have a wonderful day on this Tuesday and stay dry if you can. In a minute, we're going to be looking at actual reasons that people called into work. It's Tuesday, you've got through your Monday. Some people say, I just can't handle going to work on this Tuesday. And so they've used these reasons. We're going to get to those in just a minute. I've just got a handful. And these are actual reasons people gave, not made up, but reasons they gave. Of course, nobody believed them, but some people ain't got no sense, and they will use every conceivable idea. In their mind, it sounded good. When they thought it out, it was the plan. They thought it sounded good. I remember the days, used to, they don't do much anymore. It's amazing how things have changed over the last. I've been at my job, same job, for 34 years. Now, I've worked longer than that, but for 34 years, I've been at the same company. And in the early days, when you called in, they would try to pressure you to come in, and so people would get their wives to call in or their moms if they were single and say, little Bobby, he just can't come in today. He's sick. I may have to take him to the doctor, because if you got on the phone, they would be trying to pressure you to come in like, oh well, you'll be all right. Just come on in. It won't be that bad of a day. You'll probably get loosened up, ready to go. And they would, like, well, you don't need to miss some more days. Like, we got production here. We're depending on you. We hired you to be here. I mean, they just apply all this pressure. I remember it. I remember on a snow day, a guy arranged for somebody that was coming by right by somebody's house, and I heard this phone call. And he was calling. He was telling him that he had him a ride. He didn't have to drive because the guy said, "Oh, I can't drive in the snow," and it was a bad snow. He said he did come from a pretty good ways away, But he said, I have somebody coming by your house, right by there with a 4-wheeler. They're coming to work. They'll give you a ride. He goes, oh, I couldn't do that. Boy, this guy got so mad he slammed the phone down. When he slammed it down, he let out a few expletives, and he forgot we were in the room. Then he looked around and he's like, oh. He said, well, you understand. So, but nowadays you don't have no reason. Ain't it amazing? That's the difference between 30 years ago and now. Today you just call in and say, I'm not coming in. Personal day. There's no reason. You didn't have to dream up the old I'm sick, Back in the day you couldn't use like anything, you had to kind of work it like cough hard in the phone and just make your voice sound bad, worse than it was. Because they'd say, well, you don't sound sick to me. I think you ought to come on in. But they would say, nowadays they just call in. It's a personal day. I got so many points, and I'm just not coming to work today. I don't do that. I just can't do that. If it's a day to work, I'll work, or if I need to be off, I'll look to see if I can get a vacation day. Things pop up. If I'm sick, truly sick, on those few occasions that I have been. I used to never do that, but I've gotten a little older, and there's been a couple of times where I really was pretty bad under the weather, and I'll fight through it. But I don't want to put it around other people, or if I'm having to go to the bathroom a lot, I'll call in sick. But I tell them I'm sick, and I may even be going to the doctor if I don't get better. And I'm trying to get an appointment now and stuff like that. I'm Mr. Information. I'll tell you, I don't, because to me I don't know. I just look at it different. And people today, and here's another one that gets me. They don't show up and don't call in, and they can get away with that for 2 or 3 times. Like, who does that? Like, you just don't even call in. Today you can text your boss. Most places you don't even have to have the phone call. You can just say, I can't make it in today. I won't be. You don't even have to say I can't. You just say I won't be there today. And they have to scramble to cover your job. They appreciate if you let them know as early as you can, so they can, get help. But I can imagine all these people driving down the road and texting and not supposed to be, trying to get help because they've heard early. But today they don't even do that. They just don't show up. You get to work, you're like, where's Joe? Joe's not here. Okay. Maybe he's running late. Let me temporarily cover his job. An hour or two in, you're like, Joe's not coming in. Joe ain't going to be here. And it don't bother Joe a bit. I just can't understand that mentality. But I don't come from this generation. Nothing against the generation. I know some hardworking young people, but it is definitely a mentality out there that you just don't show up. Maybe they just don't care. I don't know. I always thought that was an agreement. That's a verbal. I mean, well, it's more than a verbal, but it's a contract between a company and an employee. That you'll work, and I agreed to this much work and this for this much money, and there's some benefits in there and stuff. You sign for that. You sign your name a bunch of times when you start a job. Well, to me, I have a duty there, but they don't look at it that way anymore. It's just don't call. So these are some reasons that people said, I can't make it in, boss. And I don't even know if they say boss anymore. They got all these, names for your leaders now. They call them different things. It used to be just he's your boss or she's your boss. Nowadays, it's engineered management or something. I don't know. They come up with all these crazy names for stuff, and I mean, the janitor is an engineering specialist or something. I mean, it's funny how they do that. They don't give you no more money, but they make your name sound real fancy. But these are some reasons that people actually gave when they called into work and said they couldn't work. Number one, my dog swallowed my car keys and I'm waiting for nature to take its course. I can guarantee you, I would never call in and use that excuse. I would just say I'm not coming in. whatever reason. But that's a disgusting thought. One, nobody believes it anyway. But two, just that you've planted that imagery, that thought into someone's brain that your dog ate your car keys and you're waiting for it to have a movement to get, oh, that's a bad thought early in the morning, right? But somebody actually did that and said that. Probably for the Star Wars crowd, or could be other ones. Number two, I got stuck in a time loop and kept reliving yesterday. First of all, in my day, if you said that, they'd be trying to call the men in white suits that have a place for you to stay. If you told somebody something like that, I got stuck in a time loop and kept reliving yesterday. What is this, Groundhog Day? Who does that? Who calls? Who says that to their boss? I mean, can you imagine the boss? You got stuck in a time loop and you're reliving yesterday. You'd be like, this guy's crazy, They'd be thinking, did you go to a party last night? Was it somebody's birthday party when you left here? Was something I don't know? You want to say that again? Did I hear you correctly? You're stuck in a time loop. Well, if you're reliving yesterday, you worked yesterday. So get to work. That's what I would say. Part of that time loop is coming to work. I just got to believe that's some dude in his mom's basement with a Star Wars pajamas on. Maybe I'm wrong. I kind of like number three. And nowadays, today, and this is a real, I've heard this, I heard it at the big box store, and it is absolutely a thing, and they get away with it. Now, in my day, they'd tell you to keep walking. Oh, that's why you're leaving work. Well, yeah, just keep walking or driving, or I don't think we can use you around here anymore. They'd just fire you. But my socket told me today's vibes were off, so I can't come in. Today, the way they say it is, I just mentally, I need a mental break, a mental health break. I just can't handle it today. It's setting off my PTSD or whatever. Now, there are people that have that, but I've seen some very young people that weren't in war and weren't, they look like they did a few mushrooms. I'll be honest about that, but they just walk up. I couldn't believe it. When they walked up, I had been at work less than an hour. Walked up and told the boss, "Hey, I'm going to have to go. Like, I'm just not mentally with it today. It's really, things are just setting me off, and I just need to go. I'll see you tomorrow." I looked at the manager, the supervisor, and I'm like, "What?" They said, "Oh yeah, he does it all the time. At least once every 2 weeks. He's taking a day off for a mental health break. Nothing against mental health breaks, you know. I mean, I think they're good things when you get away from people. You take a mental health break from people or issues or things or whatever. But work, when I started work in my first manufacturing job, if I had said something like that, they would say, "You have two choices here. You can go back to work, or you can just not work ever here again." That's what would happen. I'm not saying it was right to say it that way. I'm just saying that's the way it is. And we seem to have a whole culture now of people have. I mean, how did we ever build anything in America? I'm going to tell you what happened. They had a whole boatload of people down at the bottom of a bridge they were building, like the Golden Gate. And if you didn't work fast enough, or if you fail, they always said you're fired before you hit the ground anyway. That's the old saying. They were already calling up your replacement because there were thousands of jobs were hard to find. There were thousands of people waiting on your job, hoping you fell off that bridge. And they didn't worry about no mental health break. Sure, bud, just go ahead and take that for the rest of your life. We'll just call up to the bottom and you have a nice life. That's what they would do. I mean, they wouldn't mental health break. What's that? I've heard it. Highway runs north and south in front of the plant. Hit it. It'll take you to your next job. Start putting in applications today. Oh, I don't even want to. Number 4 is my brain goes in so many different ways. But somebody actually called into work and said, I can't come to work. I accidentally superglued myself to my couch. My God, how much superglue did you use? What were you doing? If this was actual, which it's not, what were you doing that you felt like you needed that kind of superglue to be glued to your couch? 30 years ago, they would have said, just, it's okay. Just bring the cushion on to work with you. We'll take care of it when we get here. When you get here, come on in. I don't know who says that. I accidentally superglued myself to my couch. Now I knew a guy once. This is actually, he was late for work. We actually hired in at the same time, but I think he told me one time he had bought another car, and he put his kid in the car to take to the daycare, and he accidentally had the doors locked. And in those days, they didn't have that thing that would keep the door open if the keys were on the inside. He locked his car up with it running, the kiddo inside. So he's freaking out, and his wife was not at home, and she had the backup keys or something. Anyway, he had to call a locksmith. He had the heat on everything. It was cold weather, and but he was about 20 minutes late because he lived very close, and so he'd leave at the last minute, drop the kiddo off. It was on the way, I think, and then come on to work. And he told me that. You know, nowadays they got the keyless entry, the car is set up. It won't do that kind of thing. So you know, it's not impossible. I guess that something could happen. Something could go wrong with technology, but I've never heard anybody say I accidentally superglued myself to my couch. I can't come to work. Good morning, Dave. From this Dave to that Dave. Good morning. We're looking at lists of things that people have actually called into work for, uh, but nobody believed them. But they thought that they did. They thought this is a believable story. And once again, let me reiterate for those that's just coming in, we were blessed yesterday to become a part of the Hodge Twins family. We're now an affiliate with the Hodge Twins, and when you use our code, which we're going to get out there today, we just found out yesterday. So I've got it at the commercial that's running today, but don't have it up on the screen with me today. But it'll be in front of you a lot here soon. When you use that QR code and buy the great merch that the Hodge Twins have, you'll be helping the Southern Fried as well. So you get a great duo out of it. And my coffee should be in today. We'll look at that in just a second. For the SFP coffees, we ordered some of the single use cups and some of the Ethiopian. I'm anxious to try this blend from Ethiopia, and looking forward. My coffees have been great. Every blend I've tried have been really, really good for our coffee line. Let's do one more and we'll take that quick break. We live around some crazy people, right? I could see somebody actually believing this. That's the sad part nowadays. But aliens abducted me for a quick survey, but promised to return me by noon. There's people out there that will actually believe that and say that like it's real. That this was just somebody trying to get out of work, but there's people that believe that they have been. And I don't know how you deal with that, but I would hate to be their supervisor. Can you imagine that phone call? Sorry, boss, I'm going to be late, half a day at least. May not make it in at all. I don't know. Aliens have abducted me for a survey. It's a quick survey, but they said they promised me they'd have me back by noon. You know, so if I can make it in the afternoon, I will. We don't know. Might hit some delays. You know, some that cosmic turbulence, or we just don't know what the traffic's going to look like. Any technology problems, Wi-Fi problems taking down the survey. Not sure what's going to happen here, boss, but I'm out this morning though. Absolutely out. I'm not at home. I'm with the aliens. Can you imagine calling into a construction group for that? You're you're the guy, the saw guy. I'm sorry, boss, not gonna make it in today. Them dang aliens, they've abducted me for a quick survey. Hey man, I'm supposed to be back after lunch. I'll try to come on in then. Some some construction site foreman with a cigar hanging out of his mouth, reeks of last night's alcohol. I can just imagine their response. You get your, and you know the rest. Or we'll get us a new saw guy. You can live with the aliens. I don't get it. I really don't get it. All right, folks, let's run a quick ad for the coffees. Don't forget, we also sponsored by Patriot Mobile. Make the switch today using that promo code Cornbread, and you'll enjoy this great company. America first. Customer service is America-based, straight out of Texas. And great company, and you're going to get all kinds of savings. When you use the promo code Cornbread, you'll be helping the Southern Fried as well. We're in their loyalty program. I like that word, loyalty. And I love this company. Great people. I am a satisfied customer of Patriot Mobile. We'll be right back.
Hey, everybody. This is Rob and Dave from the Southern Fried Podcast. We love lots of things here in the South. We love our country. We love our family. We love our God. We love some sweet tea on the front porch on Friday nights. But we're really near and dear and love us some coffee. That being said, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock on July the 14th, yes, we will have our coffee out there. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome, man. It's been a dream come true. We talked about this before we were ever a podcast, and we love these coffees. There's 40 plus blends. You'll find something that you like. And most people like coffee. If you don't, I can't help you, but most people like coffee. And there's a lot of coffee here. In fact, our morning show, we say get up, pray up, and coffee up, because we start our day with coffee. And now you can get some for you. Hey, we're very patriotic here. Get some for your veteran friends. You know what? Bless them. And the coffee mugs you see are representatives of logos that we've made. We've got more coming. We're going to put those on coffee mugs. And you'll see our SFP brand there, logo on each coffee. And these prices, Rob, we kept them as reasonable as we can. We cut that margin down because we know times are tough and we want to help people and put coffee in their home and all of our listeners and followers home. And I'm proud of this. So big kickoff, Rob. Excited about
Absolutely. And hey, y'all, there's no shipping cost on this either. You do not have to pay for shipping. It's already, everything's done. You just go with it. So the price the
QR code works. Just scan it. And and also off of our site, our coffee store, 2 or 3 of our social sites are also linked there. And you can find some of if you don't know where we're located, you can find us there. And come get some coffee. We got plenty. All right, back with you. And just a little correction there. If you're living in the continental United States, the continuous 48, the shipping is included in the price. That is absolute. It gets a little more expensive if you get outside of that, obviously. So that would kick in a shipping charge. A little more than what we've already included some shipping into that. It would be a little more than that. We would have to because of those international costs, which nowadays are crazy. We haven't had anybody buy outside of there yet. It'll happen. We've had some inquiries, but we haven't had anybody yet. But looking forward to mine coming in. We have teas as well, and there is a decaffeinated option. Who would want that? But there are people. No judgment. No judgment. And so the great blends, though, I got to call them. I think we're showing like 22 blends. I think there's like 40, but if you count the 22, the teas, I don't know if they're counting that or not. That's 8, but there's still something. I got to get out there and just double check and make sure. There's a lot of blends, though, a lot of options. But on the lowest level, which is 12 ounce, That's all under $20. I think there might be one that's a little over, and that includes your shipping. And you just don't see that. And your first time order, you're going to get 5% off of that as well. I test it all the time to make sure that promo code or that code is still, and that's just all you have to do is just give us your email, and that just keeps you in the loop on what's going on. You can also become a subscriber, get in the program, the coffee, they'll automatically, send you that and, charge and send you that. I'm actually going to enter that program. I'm going at least for one of them. And then we may do it on the pods. I'm not sure, but talking to my son, I'm talking about getting a bulk order on that and splitting them with him. We're splitting the cost and getting in a bulk order because he likes using those as well. I have both coffee makers in the studio, so I'm going to do that. So if you buy more, you get a little more of a break too. So I think we're going to do that. We talked about that yesterday. So all kind of ways to support Southern Fried. These are just some of the ways that we're mentioning in this morning. There's a lot of ways to support us, which keeps the programming coming and keeps us upgrading equipment and doing new things. And we're out and about. We're busy we're a full-time podcast with but work full-time jobs as well, or at least I do. And so it requires a lot of time management and stuff, but we love what we do. And this will be we're not going anywhere. In other words, we're going, no retirement for me. I might retire from secular work or whatever, but my other job, but I get older, but I'll be doing this. So love what we do. We are on Podbean this morning. We are on multiple MP3 sites. We use Podbean to feed those sites. For the most part, we do load a couple in by hand, so to speak, but we're on MP3s as well. So the people like to listen to that. Southern Fried Podcast. And we are back on YouTube. They struck us. We were out for just a little over a week. Not for mine, but for the which I'm not airing on mine this morning because we're running some premium only hours on Rumble. But we did get our ministry. We did get our podcast one back, and that we have over 1,000. I think like 1,400 videos or something like that on that site. So it's frustrating to have them do that over something we didn't even say. It wasn't nothing controversial. They called it medical. Somebody brought it up. Somebody in the chat brought it up, and we just discussed it for a second. But they called it medical, misinformation, basically, because of something that someone suggested you could do to battle the effects, or for cancer. And a lot of these, alternative medicines and options, you can't. Some of them will just kick you. That's unbelievable. I mean, where is freedom of speech to say? I don't care if you throw a disclaimer up there. Throw a disclaimer. Meta does it. They'll put a disclaimer on your chats and whatever and say there's no evidence that this is actually true or this has been debunked or whatever. We just all get used to seeing that. But to get your channel struck for a week for that, and we didn't even bring it up, is ridiculous. And I'll say it. I don't care that the bots are listening this morning. To heck with them. And for us, it's a great platform. And it really is. It just doesn't. We're not big on there. But you know what? For the 150 something people that do follow us on there, they like to come in from YouTube. And we want to be there for them. And YouTube has great possibilities. But I just don't. And we're not even that controversial. Really not. Just speaking, things and letting people have a platform to talk. And they jump on you. Anyway, it's frustrating. You hear us complain about it a little bit, but we're not going to cancel it out unless we're canceled out, because we do have people there that like us. And like I said, it's a great platform. Sometimes I use it to feed other things because we download into things that we can't go live to. We'll copy the address. And to be honest, YouTube is a great one for that. It looks great when we feed it into some of those sites. We use a couple of different things. Do that. Rumble's one, and YouTube is the other. But certainly get your Rumble. I'm not running ads this morning per se, but we run a lot of ads for Rumble and Pickaxe, and we're in the Rumble Creator Program. We appreciate the protection that we have in Rumble because we don't put up with that. They don't do that to us. And but there's always that threat. Video can get taken down on the others and stuff like that. You got to really push the envelope for Rumble to do that. I mean, really push the envelope. One of the podcasters actually had that happen this week that we're friends with. or maybe it was into last week. But he said, I pushed it. It was for controversial. And he said, I understand. He said, I pushed it out there pretty hard. So, okay. But still, it's shocking to me. But anyway, we're looking at, in the time we have left, we're looking at a few more of these reasons that people actually gave in calling into work, but nobody believed them. Our last one was the aliens. I thought this one was quite in one way, it's thinking outside the box a little bit. But if you can call in from this, then you can get somebody to let you out. But anyway, it says, I'm trapped in an escape room. If you've ever done those escape rooms, you're locked in, you have to get the clues and stuff. I'm trapped in an escape room I built in my basement and forgot the solution. It's stupid, but it actually puts some thought in it. I thought it was kind of funny. But it is fun to go in those escape rooms, but I couldn't imagine telling your boss that. I cannot, I just can't imagine. There's got to be a lot of recordings out there somewhere where people have actually called in and people are like just laughing, like, listen to this one. My employee built an escape room. He says he's stuck in it. He can't come to work. Oh boy. I would want to know the theme. I would throw questions back. Oh, really? That's interesting. What's your theme? See if they actually thought that far into it. What is the theme of your escape room? Number 8 on this list is my neighbor's llama broke into my house. Interesting concept. And I'm negotiating its exit. This one actually cracks me up. I have heard of people that's been held hostage in their home because this is a real deal. In some areas of the country, animal control owners won't do anything about their terrorizing animals in the neighborhood. And animal control is very weak in some areas. And I know what I would do, but there are people that don't want to go that route. So they are stuck in their house. I've heard of dogs terrorizing the neighborhood for 2 hours and nobody would do anything. They would throw food out trying to, this is crazy, but they would actually throw food out so that they could get to their car and stuff. Really? They're at your door, terrorizing. When I say terrorizing, they're the kind of dog that's, act like it's going to take you down, get you by the neck and kill you. And you're going to live with that? I deal with the dogs and I go deal with the owners. Celtic Blacksmith, my boss and I used to listen to the recordings together and vote on who got the Oscar award. I like that too. Some people are pretty creative. Some people are not. So I would, I could deal with that. I could dig it, but there's no way. But llama, that's kind of a unique one. That's they put some thought into that. The llama is broken in my house. I'm negotiating its exit. Somebody said I ate too many tacos and I'm in a food coma. I would have thought you was in the bathroom, but food coma, that's a new one. What does that mean? Like you're in a coma, but you can still call? Food coma. If you do eat too many tacos, it could cost you a day at work. I actually like number 10, and it's still dumb, but I understand it. Not that I look at horoscopes, but somebody called in and said my horoscope said to avoid all human contact today. Can I just say that there are days that maybe I could deal with not having to deal with human contact. And I'm a people person. I like to go out and meet people, but there are and it's not them. There's some days it's not within you. I don't know. It's like a switch is flipped and you ever just sit back and it's like we're all in this life of deja vu. It's like the same things. You ever just go to work and it's like everybody you come up on, exactly what they're going to say. And you're like, God, I'm so tired of hearing that. It's like, can you not get something new? It's like I just know. It's like this person's going to tell a corny joke, or they've got a couple of oddball things they say, or, they're the chippy one. Good morning. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. It's like, oh, no human contact. There are people. I talked to a guy one time. He was a nice guy, really nice guy, but he's not a social guy. And I forget which country he was from, but he works for our company. He's a computer programmer. And he says, I just like to sit in a dark room with a computer and me, and nobody bothered me. He says, he said, don't get offended, but I don't need human contact. I'm okay. He said, if I never see anybody throughout my day, that's a great day. And people are looking around like, and they made him come to this class. It was a time management class. And I'm thinking, this dude don't need a time management class. I mean, he spends all his time in front of the computer working, unless he was playing games, and I don't know. But he said, I enjoy being here. I like talking to you, but he goes, I'm happier in my room. Dark lights are dark, and just the lights of the computer screen. He's got little things there to drink, and he's got a little lunch he brings. Except to go to the bathroom, he said, I don't need to see anybody. I just not like that. I mean, would you? And good morning, Camilla Chamber of Commerce. God bless you. We appreciate you folks, and the great festival you had down there in Camilla too. I enjoyed that. I definitely enjoyed that. But can you imagine? I mean, no human contact. I mean, what if your job was, well, the Chamber of Commerce? I just can't do it today, boss. My horoscope said no human contact today. Well, that kind of knocks that out of the box, right? Now, I'm thinking of Miss Jen. Now, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Southern Claws and Paws, our new pet show. This is episode 5. Me and Miss Jen will be on there tonight. And I'm thinking of her. She's the cat lady. And number 12, oops, I'm dropping things. And number 12 is that my cat has staged a sit-in on my laptop from work, I'm assuming, and I don't want to disturb her protest. I've got to ask Miss Jen about this one. Is that such a thing that they have a sit-in? I mean, I get it. Cats will perch up on stuff. But that is something, though, that in this day and time, that more than ever before, and I mean ever, you you hear more about pets than you do sometimes anything out of people. And they have kids. Sometimes they'll talk about their pets more than their kids. Just saying. A cat sit-in, and I don't want to disturb their protest. And again, I filter every one of these through 30 plus years ago. The first time I walked into manufacturing and realized that world, I didn't know that world existed. I thought they were bad at the restaurant and everything. I didn't realize there was a whole nother sub-level of management, back in those days, how they talk to you. It's like John Boy from the Waltons going out to New York for the first time. He's like, wow. He's been on that mountain all them years. I had a friend. He lived in the country, and he went in the Navy, and he went up to New York. He was doing a nuclear program. Very smart guy, but he called his parents, and he said, "We got to have a talk." He said, "Y'all raised me in such a bubble. I didn't know there were places like this on the planet. Like I did not know that there were people that talk like this." He said. He said they're laughing at me because every day is a new reaction on my face. I never knew there were. I've heard words. He said, "I've heard words. I didn't even know what they were." What? And people say, "What do you mean? Where you come from? I'm under a rock." But you imagine going from South, rural Georgia to New York. It's got, I mean, a big difference. Things are different, but this filter I have of how things have changed, but I remember sort of that. Like I said, I was kind of bubble raised. My parents were really good, kept a lot of things away from me. My first job was in a grocery store, and that I heard some things there. That was not. It wasn't like they were, family friendly all the time because they weren't. But going into my first manufacturing job, my gosh, that was a culture shock. That was not only are they talking rough, but they're mean. There's people actually talking to you like they could rip your throat out of your neck and just to take your head and toss it in the trash, and they don't care. I mean, it's like okay, that's this is your boss is telling you things you could do to yourself. You're not even knowing if it's physically possible, and you're like, why is my boss talking to me this way? Or you heard him talk to somebody else that way, and you're like, does he hate that guy? What did he do? He didn't get production. Production. Yeah, that was the bad thing. Back in the day when I started production, if you didn't get production, that was very vocal. We're not going to take it, as Twisted Sister was saying. We're not going to take it. And if you don't get production tomorrow, you're not going to have a job. But I'm leaving a lot of words out. And people would just take that. And I'm like, wow, can you imagine a day? I mean, there'd be some people just crawl in the corner and die. They couldn't handle that kind of pressure. It just wouldn't. It's different. It is certainly different. I think this one's for Steve. I'm auditioning for a reality show about extreme napping. I kind of like that one. I could think Steve could do that. I think he could be an extreme napper. It wouldn't work for his job, but he could do it. In another, and this is actual people that called in and said this. Now, I don't know where. I don't have the where, but somebody called in and said, my refrigerator started talking to me, and I need to figure out why. Once again, if I was the boss, I would have to explore this a little bit. It would be... I know, Steve, but if there was, you could be all in that, right? You could be in that sport. I believe it. But I would have to ask them, what's the refrigerator saying to you? Let me help you out here. I mean, what is it like the one? What was the one? Was it Ghostbusters? Remember, they open the door and she sees, all this stuff. And of course, Bill Murray, he's trying to open doors, but not that one. And he's like, I'm sorry, I just don't see nothing, and she's getting mad. It's funny movie. This definitely sounds like today. My goldfish is depressed and I'm taking it to therapy. I don't doubt that there is such a thing, to be honest, in today's world. I do not doubt that one bit that this is actually a thing. Even though somebody just made this up to call in, I think this is probably something that you could probably find people that would go, there is the Goldfish Depression Society help or something, We're here to help you. Bring your goldfish. You and your goldfish come for a session. I accidentally joined a cult last night and I need the day to resign. Now that one kind of cracked me up. It was an accident. I mean, I didn't mean to join the cult. I got to figure this thing out today. It's going to take me a day to figure out how to resign and not get, chained and put in the basement as the troublemaker, pump full of drugs, I'm assuming this cult was how to sit home and drink beer cult or something, Oh. Oh, you're okay. You're okay. You don't have, that's fine. I appreciate it. I thank you for listening and enjoying your coffee. Sometimes I don't get to drink my coffee for being on the podcast, but thank you for being here, Izzy. And we appreciate you. Enjoy that coffee and order some Southern fried coffee. Oh, my goodness. A couple of more here, and I do have to go. I got to go to work. I can't use these excuses today. It doesn't work. I'm stuck in my virtual reality game, and I can't find the log out button. And I'm sorry, my mind goes there, but Steve, you absolutely pop in my mind on this because I'm wondering what the virtual reality game is. And I'm thinking you don't want to find the log out button. Just saying. Oh my goodness. Now, this definitely is one that I could use, but I'd be in line with a lot of people. Somebody called in and said, I was practicing for the World Procrastination Championships and lost track of time. I do it. I do it, Steve. Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm practicing for the World Procrastination Championships and lost track of time. So, and I'll give you one more. My toaster caught fire, and I'm holding a memorial service for it. Oh, don't try to use any of these today if you're not going to work. In today's world, you just say, sorry, boss, not coming in. They don't even say sorry. I threw that in. That's too much old school. You just say, not coming in. The text won't be in today. Or you just don't call in. They say, oh, Joe's not here. I guess he's not going to come in today. It's an amazing world we live in, I'm telling you. And all these people that get to work from home, God bless you, it's cool. I'm not against it. But that's a whole nother segment. How do you call in from that? You work at home. Not going to be able to log on today, boss. We have of course, they give you battery backups, but, you know, I mean, can you really have a sick day if you log it in from home? I mean, they work in their pajamas anyway, unless they have to go on camera. Oh man, hey, it's fun though. It is one of the toughest jobs in the world to be somebody's supervisor. That is a tough job. It really is. And some people you have, they're great, they're awesome, salt of the earth, they're every day, above and beyond. Then you got the people that just average. They're average. You need them. They'll get the job done. A little prodding, you get them there. Then you have that other bunch, and they'll wear you out. It's every day is something. They're the most drama filled. Sorry, just do just enough not to get fired. People that you can find, and you're looking for a way to actually open that spot up, and you're not. Human resources says no. We got to give them one more chance. One more chance. They come in with some paperwork from some therapist or something. Well, we're going to have to give them some flexibility here. And it's the world we live in today. I would hate to be trying to run a crew today. I tell you, I would. And and that's why, again, not to be controversial, not for it, but if you want to know why that, for several reasons, that's one of the reasons people like to use illegals. Because they're not gonna cry, they're not gonna whine, they don't want no attention. They're gonna show up for work every day, and those guys knew they were illegal, absolutely. But you know why? They come in, they work, they got things done, and they were better workers. They were better workers. There was a time when I was supervisor. There was a time, and it was really hard for me to say. There was a time that all of my international workers, they were here. Some of them were citizens already. Some of them were not. All of those workers were better workers than my American-born workers. That's a fact. In one area that I supervised, this just goes back about 20 years or close to it. I think it is right at 20 years. And I looked up one day and I started evaluating everybody I had, and every one of my workers that were not born here were far better workers, better attitude, better work, always hit the mark, there every day. Didn't give you no drama, no problem. That isn't always true, but that for me at that time was. And all of my born here thought they were the best of the best. In their head, they thought they were the best of the best of the best. They were nothing but hassles, every one of them. That's true. That was at one time. At one time, not it wasn't that way always, but it was that way some. So anyway, y'all have a great day out there, Steve. Go conquer. Think about Bikini Babe Island. I want to know who's in the bikini, Steve. Y'all have a great day tonight. Remember, we may have an extra show tonight, but we certainly have Southern Claws and Paws on at 8:00. If you'd like to send us a picture of your animal, dog, cat, snake, I don't care, whatever, just send it to the Southern Fried Podcast at yahoo.com. And if you'd ever like to come on the program and, talk about pets, let us know. We'll put you up on the screen. We'll talk about your dogs, your cats, your ducks, whatever, and some good tips. Weather's changing. Going to be talking about that a little bit tonight, and whether Miss Jen sent me some things. We'll try to put some of that on. I got to find out a way to make sure I don't break any copyrights. So I think I can. I've usually got a couple of ways I can do that. But Southern Claws and Paws tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Southern Fried. And don't forget Hodge Twins. We are now an affiliate with the Hodge Twins. You're going to see that all over our social media today. I love those guys. And the fact that we're going to be able to work with them is amazing. And it's good for you, good for us. Have a great day. Rob will be back tomorrow, hopefully, for the morning show. He was out last night or yesterday all day, doctor's visit. So he was at the doctor a long day. I talked with him once, and he was still not done. So I'm sure was wore out when he got home. So y'all pray for him. He said prayers are acceptable, and we hope to see him tomorrow. The racing show and sports show is Wednesday night. We're going to try to kick that off at 5 p.m. And today I do have a special interview with a guy, an author, that won't be live. I'm going to be recording that. We'll air that out, give you plenty of time. It's a great story. We won't be able to hit every element of it, but we will get his overview of the book and various things about it. And then we're going to encourage you to buy the book, and we're going to talk about things in the book. And when we air this, we're going to kind of do play some of the interview and then kind of stop and talk about it a little bit, maybe, or something like that. But I don't know how long I'm going to have him for today. It just depends on what kind of a break he's got, but we're going to meet up today from where he's at and do the interview, record it, and then we'll air it. So, but anyway, have a great day. I'm glad I don't have to take kids to school. They're on fall break. Yay. And, schools they're like government. They get breaks all the time. I mean, but I do go to work. So, and we got fire drills this morning, so I got to get going. The good old fire drill. Get over there and practice on that. Take care. God bless. We'll see you tonight, Lord willing. And truly pray for some of our folks who are struggling. Some of them in the hospital, some of the listeners, and some that have procedures. And, we've been under the weather here, and those things happen. But we'll see you soon. Take care.